if you remember, we had a detailed case study of the 1 by R type or Kepler type potential last time, and we also last time was yesterday, so you know it. And we also did our Kepler's 3 laws of planetary motion. We had a look at how this is a natural consequence of the orbit equation, the nature of the orbit, and so on. Okay. We found that Kepler's first and third law need the orbit equation in particular. Kepler's second law, if you recollect, you don't need the orbit equation at all. It's a natural consequence of the theta equation of motion for all central force problems, not just for our Kepler problem in particular. So Kepler didn't realize that most of his results are actually of much more general nature, which is what we saw last time. Today, we will have a look at a very specific topic, which, let me write the name. There is a specific vector quantity associated with the Kepler or 1 by R type potential, which is called as the Laplace-Runge lens vector. It is a very interesting physical quantity, so we'll spend our day today in the company of this guy. Before I define what exactly is this guy, let us first set the context. If you recollect, the orbit equation for any object orbiting around the, let us say, orbiting around the sun, because we are talking about 1 by R, any gravitational field or any charged particle in an atom or any such similar systems which is involving central forces. The orbit equation is of the form 1 by R is equal to, can anyone remember what is the form? It was only yesterday we did this. Mk by L square into 1 plus epsilon cos theta minus theta prime. Correct? This is what we had, where we called the Mk by L square term, this whole thing, we called it as the scale factor of the orbit. Larger is Mk by L square, smaller will be the orbit. Smaller is Mk by L square, larger will be the orbit. And the quantity epsilon is called the eccentricity. In particular, this entire orbit is of the form of a conic section. And particularly for the kind of orbits which we are interested, that is elliptical orbits around the sun, which are most planetary and astro or celestial orbits are like that. They're eccentric orbits, elliptical orbits. The eccentricity factor will be between 0 and 1. We have seen all of this last time. Okay. Now, let us try to look at another aspect of the same equation. If you remember, we had done this by integration and we found two constants of integration. One of them is epsilon, the other is theta prime. Correct? You integrate the equation of motion twice and you will get two constants of integration. Theta prime is one of those constants. Okay. Now, this is very important. What is the physical meaning of theta prime? Basically, it decides the orientation of the orbit. For example, if there are two orbits for which k is the same, L is the same, M is the same, epsilon is the same, then are both those orbits the same orbit or are they different? Let me repeat the question. If M is the same, K, there are two orbits for both these orbits, they have the same value of m, same value of k, same value of L, same value of epsilon. Then does it mean that both the orbits are same? That is the question.
Answer theta dash अगर same होगा तो आएगा same, overlap करेगा ना?
Correct. So the answer to this question, very good, correct, you are right. If theta dash is not the same, then you can have two orbits which are exactly the same size. Size is decided by the scale factor. The same shape, because shape is decided by the eccentricity factor. Size of the orbit decided by the scale factor. Shape, whether it is circular, elliptical, how elliptical it is decided by the eccentricity. Orientation is controlled by theta dash. So you could have exactly the same orbit. Imagine that both these ellipses are identical to each other. Okay? These are at two different orientations. This is oriented in this direction. The other one is oriented in this direction. Okay? Same scale and eccentricity. Different theta dash. Agreed? Is this fine?
Yes.
Makes sense, no? Even if you specify the scale factor and the eccentricity, you are not guaranteed that both the orbits are the same. They could be differing by their orientation in space. Which orientation they are doesn't really matter. Okay? But definitely if there are two orbits, they could in principle have two different directions in space, and those directions are basically specified by theta dash. Theta dash has a different value, means the orbit has a different orientation. Agreed? Correct?
Yes, sir. But sir, theta is the angle covered by radius vector, na? Theta only.
No, theta is that angle. Theta dash is a constant.
Theta is angle covered by radius vector.
Angle swept by the radius vector. Yes, you can say that. But then it is the angle swept starting from theta prime, kind of. So theta prime is a like theta equal to 0 kind of thing. It is a reference position from where you will measure theta. Correct?
Okay, sir.
Makes sense, na?
Yeah,
it is like a shift of origin. Only here we are talking about angles, so we call it different orientations. Something of that kind. Okay. Now, we know that for V is equal to minus K by R, which is the type of potential I am interested in, comma, theta prime is a constant. That is what we have written on the right hand side in terms of orbit equation. I am repeating that in English. Okay? Theta prime is constant, correct? And this is not only a mathematical thing, this was observed also. Kepler observed something very interesting. So let us come to that observation. In principle, for central motion, you know that the orbit, even if it is bounded, it can do this. Correct? Agreed?
Yes, sir.
You must have seen such diagram for atom and all also. It's a common thing. Even if you search atom now on Google, you will get at least one picture which looks like this. Correct? So what is happening here? Basically, as the particle moves, the orientation of the particle, orientation of the ellipse, if I take the major axis, it keeps on shifting. Okay? Each of these successive revolutions are slightly shifted from each other. Correct? Agreed? So basically, instead of moving around a center, it is moving, and also the whole orbit itself is rotating gradually. Okay? This is what is drawn in this picture. My question is, can this kind of additional change of orientation of the orbit be possible for a pure 1/r type of potential? That is the question. Answer to that question is no, because theta prime is constant, which means that orientation should not change. Such a change of orientation, this particular change of orientation which is there, it has a specific name. It is called precession. Okay. You say that the orbit is precessing around the center. Okay. Please understand this. Particle is moving on the orbit. Okay. My question is, does the orbit also shift gradually? Only if that happens, then only we'll get this kind of flower type of picture which people keep drawing for atom and so on. Okay. This kind of motion is possible only if the orbit is elliptical but keeps on shifting little by little. You must have seen this kind of, you get this toy, geometry related toy, which you can draw various types of designs. I am not sure how many of you have seen. This used to be popular when we were in school and so on. I don't know how popular it is nowadays. You just put a pencil and keep rolling, and then you get all kinds of very fascinating designs. My point is that for the 1/r potential, this kind of precession is not possible. From the orbit equation, we realize it is not possible because theta prime is a constant, which means that the orientation of the ellipse has to be fixed. It is also an empirical observation by Kepler that the orientation of the orbit does not change. The orbit does not precess. The orbit continues in the same, it continues as the same orbit and does not change its orientation at all. Okay. This is also experimentally, observationally confirmed that this is true. Okay. Is this concept clear to everyone? That in general, for any random central force motion with bounded motion, it is not at all necessary that the orientation of the orbit should remain constant. In principle, you can get an orbit of the type which we have drawn over here. However, for the specific case where you have a potential energy term of the form 1/r minus k/r basically, then you have solved already for the orbit equation and you realize that the orientation is constant. In other words, the orientation is fixed. In other words, the orbit should not keep precessing in space. Is this okay? Any question regarding this? Any doubt or not clear? Please tell me.
सर मतलब
Yes.
अभी प्लैनेट मूव कर रहा है, ठीक है, तो वो पूरा एलिप्स होने के बाद वो प्रिसेशन होगा कि जैसे
नहीं,
जैसे
इट्स ए
move कर रहा है
कंटिन्यूअस
उसके
प्रोसेस.
साथ में होगा?
इट्स ए कंटिन्यूअस प्रोसेस. वो अपने को मालूम नहीं पड़ेगा, पर वो कंटिन्यूअसली वो एलिप्स मूव हो रहा है.
अच्छा, तो
So there is a
मतलब-
series of, let us say, dotted line elliptical orbits everywhere, and at any given point of time, you are on one of those orbits. It keeps shifting. It is not that you complete the ellipse and then it shifts. Okay. By the time you come back, you realize that you are at a slightly different place.
Sir,
A common example you can make of this is take a pendulum and swing it at some random direction, so it will go like this. You must have seen this. So it keeps going, but it's not in a single ellipse, but that ellipse keeps on precessing kind of. Bolo Satish, you were saying something.
सर थीटा डैश अगर 0 to 360 चेंज होगा तो फर्स्ट जो डायग्राम आपने ऑर्बिट का बनाया तब ऐसा प्रिसीजन मिलेगा ना सर?
कौन सा डायग्राम जो लेफ्ट साइड में बना है वो?
सर एटम का जो बनाया आपने ये डिफरेंशिएट किया.
हाँ, but what is special about 360? 60 same as 0.
नहीं सर, मतलब इंटरवल में सर ऐसे एक एक ऑर्बिट ऐसे कंप्लीट.
If theta is a function of time, or if theta keeps increasing as a function of time,
Yes, sir.
after 360 again you will start with 0 and keep
Yes,
going.
sir.
There is no stop to it. It is not that 360 पे रुक जाएगा. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Suppose total angle it moves is 540, then it is same as 180. That is our understanding. But you can count the angle up to any number. Doesn't matter. It gets reduced down to the interval 0 to 2 pi. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
हाँ जी, बोलिए.
सर मर्क्युरी ऑर्बिट साठी मी पाहिलंय की ते प्रिसिजन असं होतं.
हो, पण Mercury is not a pure two-body problem. None of the planets in the solar system are. ठीक है. if there was only a single planet, then the orbit won't precess. It is because of the perturbation of other planets. Jupiter is the major perturbation because it is the heaviest. Then you have nearby planets like Venus and Earth. All this will basically affect the orbit of Mercury. So none of the planetary orbits are strictly non-precessional, but the precession is extremely small because who is the major gravitational attraction for any planet in the solar system? Sun. Everyone else is extremely small perturbation. So the precession of the orbit of Mercury is actually very, very small. So it is more or less a non-precessional orbit, but it does precess at a very, very, very slow rate. Okay? So you are right, what you have read is right, but that is because of the effect of the other planets. You can actually compute it computationally, that if you minus the effect of all the other planets, basically the remaining orbit is actually non-precessional. ठीक है?
सर हे प्रिसिजन फक्त पोटेन्शियल वरून होतं का? म्हणजे पोटेन्शियल एनर्जी K/R मुळेच जर आपली
K/R साठी आपल्याला माहिती आहे की नाही होणार, कारण थीटा प्राइम हा कॉन्स्टंट मिळालेला आहे. इतरांसाठी पाहावं लागेल, त्यांचा ऍक्च्युअल इक्वेशन ऑफ ऑर्बिट सॉल्व्ह केल्यावरतीच कळेल.
ओके, म्हणजे अशी पॉसिबिलिटी आहे ना की पोटेन्शियल
Well, as far as I understand, there is only the 1/r potential for which the precession is not there. All right. So this, so everyone is convinced, I hope, that from the orbit equation we see that the orbit, at least for a 1/r potential, should not be precessing. This is one side. The other side is actually for planetary orbits, it has been observed that they do not undergo precession. Okay, this is okay. So basically, a kind of fact which we have is the orbit of a planet around the sun is not only elliptical, it follows the same elliptical track again and again and again, and not slightly shifted tracks at every revolution. Is this okay with everyone? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Is it fine? Yes. Others?
Yes, sir.
So can you explain it one more time, please?
Basically, the claim which we are making, which is well supported by experimental or observational evidence, is that just by knowing that the orbit is elliptical or bounded does not mean that the orbit will not shift around, just as what is shown in this diagram. If I am looking at the orbit from top, then basically let me draw a diagram which I will work soon. The orbit for a Kepler type potential is like this. Watch my pen carefully. दिख रहा है क्या?
हाँ सर.
It keeps retracing the same path in space. ठीक है? Reason for this, physical reason for this, we are claiming that is because theta prime is some particular angle and that is fixed in space because it's a constant, and therefore this orbit is not allowed to do this. So my orbits are like this and not like this. That is the claim. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
And observationally also, this is confirmed that orbits are generally like this, not like this, which keep on shifting slightly after every revolution. Is this okay? Fine. Shall we move further?
Yes, sir.
Rutvik?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
Clear, na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At least what is the conjecture, what is the claim is clear. Now whether that claim is true or not, we will come to it now. ठीक है?
सर
Yes, बोलिए.
सर एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन था सर,
हाँ,
जैसे
हाँ.
यूनिवर्स एक्सपांड हो रहा है सर, तो सर उसकी वजह से ऐसा ऑर्बिट में प्रिसीजन आ सकता है क्या, ऐसे मतलब फ्यूचर में ओरिएंटेशन?
Again, I am not sure that is a relevant question. Let us stick to the topic.
ओके सर.
the universe expanding will have an effect on many things, but I don't think at this scale we need to, or this stage we need to talk about this. Short answer to your question: universe expansion does not affect individual interactions among systems. It works on a much larger scale. Okay? Things which are held together even gravitationally are safe. They don't expand along with the expansion of the universe. Okay?
Okay.
Objects beyond a certain scale, scales where the signals take relativistic amounts of time to pass between objects, something of that type, I suppose. After that scale, you start getting cosmological effects. Okay? Not among things like sun and earth. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Sun won't drift away from the earth because the universe is expanding. If that is the question. That's the short answer to that. All right, let us quickly now come to this. Basically, our claim, I am going to draw a series of kind of cartoon diagrams to kind of explain why this is happening. My first diagram is this. This is an orbit of a planet around the sun. If you want, I'll draw the planet also. And my claim is that this orbit does not precess. It is not only a blind mathematical claim, it is also physically an observation that this thing doesn't precess. Our aim is to find out what is the secret behind this. बोलते ना boost is the secret of my energy. वैसा इसका energy का secret क्या है वो अपने को ढूंढने का है. ठीक है? So this is the first thing which we have. Correct? All right. From this, can we write this in a slightly different way? I am going to write it like this. I'll draw a second cartoon picture of the same thing. But I will write this in a slightly more formal way. I am going to say that the time rate of change of orientation of this orbit is equal to 0. Does this make sense? Is this correct statement?
Yes. Yes,
Instead
sir.
of saying in colloquial language that the orbit does not precess, I am going to say that rate of change of the orientation is equal to 0. Is okay? Agreed? Acceptable?
Yes.
Then let me put forward my third panel of my cartoon, which is the following. I say that since I know that this is not changing in orientation, there must be some vector quantity associated with this particular orbit and it is that guy which is not changing. This is a slight jump in thinking, but think about it. Okay? What is the new claim? New claim is that there is no reason for the orientation not to change. Now, why orientation is not changing? Orientation ka aisa kya hai? Then you kind of think, then you come up with this idea, maybe there is some kind of vector. Why vector and not scalar? Because we are talking about orientation, direction. So we need a quantity which possesses direction. So we say that maybe there is a vector quantity associated with the orbit. And it is that guy who is conserved, and that is why the orbit is not shifting. This is a slight jump in reasoning, but it is a fair kind of assumption. Okay? What do you feel? Is this a reasonable kind of thinking? Thought process seems to be okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Orbit is not shifting, therefore there will be some special direction associated with the orbit. Special direction, there is a vector pointing in that direction, and that vector quantity must be conserved. This is my conclusion. And therefore, why panel number 1 is happening is because actually the root cause is panel number 4, which simply says that there is some vector quantity associated with this problem, which is not changing, and I am going to call this quantity as A bar for the time being, and we'll try to think of what should be the properties of this guy. This series of 4 panels tells us our thought process. First is the observation by Kepler that these orbits don't seem to be precessing. This is kind of cushioned by our own observation of the orbit equation that theta prime is a constant, so orientation should not be changing. However, if we try to look deeper at this particular thing, orientation is not changing means orientation not changing is a kind of symmetry. Okay, think about it in this way. Why? Because if orientation is not changing, then clockwise precession and anti-clockwise precession both are not possible. So some kind of symmetry is maintained within the system. Okay. Some kind of constraint is there on the system which is forcing it to move only in a particular way. Okay. Whenever there is a kind of symmetry, we know that there will be a conserved quantity associated with it, Noether's theorem. Okay. You can think of it in that way also, but if you are not comfortable with that symmetry thing, at least this argument makes sense that this is not precessing, therefore its orientation doesn't change with time. Therefore, there must be some vector quantity associated with the orbit, and that is the guy which is being conserved. And that is why the orientation doesn't change with time. That is why we say that it is not, the orbit is not precessing. This series of 4 logical steps is okay for everyone? Correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So, let us try to guess the, or not guess, let us try to list out. So basically our question is, who is this guy? बराबर ने? It is like a, मतलब वो बोलता है ना, हिंदी पिक्चर suspense. There will be one fellow whose only the outline is shown. He will come and he will shoot everyone and go. But you don't know who he is. Mystery. Like that, this A bar is like, कौन है ये? कौन है? Who is he? What is he? What is his like? उसका हुलिया क्या है? We don't know. This is a question mark. But let us try to list the properties of A bar. What all properties he should possess? What is the first property? A bar should be in the orbital plane. बराबर है? It should be in the plane of the orbit, ना? Otherwise, उसका conservation का orbit का कुछ लेना देना नहीं होएगा. Is it okay?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Second property that is time derivative should be 0, obviously. Okay. So now if we need A bar to be in the plane of the orbit, let us try to ask the question, do we know some vector which is perpendicular to the plane of the orbit? This is the plane of the orbit perpendicular to it. Do you know some vector quantity in that direction? Vector quantity perpendicular to the plane. हाँ बोलो.
Angular momentum vector.
Very good. Angular momentum is perpendicular to the orbit. बराबर है. So this guy is perpendicular to the angular momentum because this guy is in the plane, or angular momentum is perpendicular to the plane. Correct? So should be in the orbital plane also means that it is perpendicular to the angular momentum. Correct? So one of the possibilities is that A bar will be some vector quantity cross product with L bar. This is just a possibility. I mean, this is also with a question. Okay. Why we are saying this? Because if A bar is something cross L bar, then A bar will definitely end up being in the orbital plane. Okay. This is a by chance ऐसा हो भी सकता है. Maybe it is possible that A bar is of this particular form. We don't know anything about A bar, ना? So this is like a kind of detective story, you know. A bar कौन है? चलो ढूंढते हैं. कैसा हो सकता है? इसका क्या हो सकता है? Then you say that somewhere in some case someone had seen that the shadow of this person is 6 foot tall. Then you say, okay, then maybe this guy is having 6 foot or something height, something like that. वैसा we are just trying to guess in the dark, you know, what could be A bar, क्या हो सकता है, देखते हैं क्या है करके. ठीक है. Another thing which we can realize is that A bar is not one of our usual guys. It is not R bar, not P bar, and not L bar. Not L bar because the orientation is not the same. R bar and P bar usually are not conserved for any general elliptical motion. Therefore, he is not one of our usual guys. He is some new fellow. नया आदमी है मार्केट में. ठीक है. So these are some of the things which we can guess about A bar. Means A bar should be perpendicular to L bar. Its time derivative should be 0. It is not one of our usual guys whom we all know. And one possibility which we can look into, we can try out if A bar is equal to some other physical quantity cross product with L bar. Because this will automatically bring A bar inside the plane of the orbit, because this will always be in the plane. When you multiply cross product with L bar means it will be perpendicular, means A bar will definitely be in the plane if it is of this particular form. Okay, I know this is not much to go by, but at least all these three properties are there, means more or less this is what we know about this guy. Is this okay? Fine?
Yes, sir.
सर
Yes,
टाइम
बोलिए.
मतलब ए वेक्टर डॉट इज इक्वल टू 0 ये कैसे लिया मतलब.
ये क्योंकि आपने एग्री किया ना, ये 4 कार्टून का पैनल बनाया ना, d by dt of A bar should be 0. It is because of conservation of A bar that the orbit is not precessing, na?
हाँ सर.
So from that we kind of conclude that d by dt of A bar should be 0. That is one of the things we are looking for in A bar. A bar का टाइम डेरिवेटिव 0 ही होना चाहिए, नहीं 0 हुआ तो फिर गड़बड़ है. ठीक है. But then it is not satisfying this our original contention ना, that the orbit doesn't precess. So if we guess something for A bar and उसका टाइम डेरिवेटिव 0 नहीं निकला, so then that guess is probably wrong. We are looking for some guy whose time derivative is 0. That is the thing. Is it okay here? Fine. Shall we move further?
यस सर. ओके.
Others, everyone is okay here?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. Very nice. Thank you so much. Let us move further now. So we had few kind of random things which we know about A bar. So let us try to take a guess. let me try a bar is equal to, क्या ट्राई करने का तुम लोग बोलो. I am going to try something cross L bar. What should I put on this point? This derivation is a little heuristic in the sense, if you don't know what to put here, you will have to do trial and error a lot of times, but ultimately we will reach here. What are our popular quantities? Which we know about, vector quantities associated with the central force problem. We have R bar, P bar and L bar. उसमें से L bar cross L bar करके फायदा नहीं, because that is going to be 0. So we can try either R bar cross L bar or P bar cross L bar. What do you want to do?
P bar.
Angular momentum of.
ठीक है. Someone said P bar. Anyway, if you had said R bar, then I would have told let us try P bar. So that is what we are going to do. You are saying something? Someone was saying something.
The A bar should be in the plane of orbit, na?
Correct.
So I thought a spin angular momentum of object can be possibility here.
Spin angular momentum of the object is also perpendicular to the orbital plane, or it can have a random orientation with respect to the orbital plane. It need not be restricted to the plane of the orbit.
Yes.
In fact, I think only for Uranus, the spin points more or less in the direction of the, and that also it is not exactly in the plane of the orbit, but it is quite close, it is tilted. Angular momentum, generally even spin angular momentum is found to be quite close to the direction of the orbital momentum. It's interesting, but I think we'll not spend time on that. It's okay. And there may be a spinless object. It can nevertheless have orbital motion. That's the other trouble with that kind of direction of thought. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
But sir, P vector आपण कुठला घेतोय? Momentum.
Momentum vector. Momentum.
कोणाचा घेतोय momentum ते object?
In the reduced central mass central force problem, basically the mu guy, the reduced mass guy who is moving in the orbital plane, we are taking his linear momentum.
ओके, तो वेक्टरची डायरेक्शन कशी असणार सर? प्लेन मध्येच असणार ना?
प्लेन मध्येच असणार, बिकॉज R क्रॉस P L बार आहे ना, तर R बार आणि P बार दोघेही ऑर्बिटच्या प्लेन मध्येच असावेत, कारण L बार परपेंडिक्युलर आहे ना दोघांना.
ओके सर.
So R bar and P bar together define the plane of the orbit, in fact, because R bar cross P bar gives you L bar. L bar is the perpendicular direction. So R bar and P bar are both perpendicular to L bar. Hence, both of them are in the plane of the orbit. Okay.
Yes,
is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Actually, that doesn't matter. Even if I take here a vector which is not in the plane of the orbit, A bar will end up in the plane because it will be perpendicular to L bar. Okay. But we are taking this case and going forward. What will be A bar dot or d by dt of A bar? The same as A bar dot. What will it be? You can use UV rule on this. It will be P bar dot cross L bar plus P bar cross L bar dot. Agreed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
What is L bar dot? L bar is a conserved quantity for central force problem. So L bar dot is straight away 0. Okay. Is this fine? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And what is P bar dot? We had written this down once upon a time when we were trying to prove that L bar is conserved. Okay, it turns out to be minus dabba v by dabba r times r hat. This is common sense because the force is always in the radially inward, or at least it's always in the radial direction. So it is in the r hat direction, and it is derived from the potential. So this is perfectly correct. In our case, V is minus k by r. Okay. What will be dabba v by dabba r? बोलो. If V is minus k by r, what will be dabba v by dabba r? K by r square plus k by r square. Very good. It's just a simple derivative. Okay. Which means that I am going to write P bar as m r bar dot. This is a non-relativistic expression for momentum, very clear. Mass is not changing anyway. Is minus k by r square r hat. Or we can directly write P bar dot, doesn't matter. Let's keep it as P bar because you can substitute it. Is this okay? Is this fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Substitute here. By the way, what is L bar? What is L bar?
R cross P.
R cross P. R bar cross P bar. Please be careful about when you are putting hat. Hat means unit vector. Bar means actual vector with magnitude. Okay. Have you come across this kind of vector triple product earlier? Do you know how to do a vector triple product of three vectors?
Yes, sir, but formula माहित नाही आहे.
फॉर्म्युला माहित नाहीये तर कसं चालणार? कुणालाच माहित नाही का? This is usually done by something called back cab rule. It is B bar times A bar dot C bar minus C bar times A bar dot B bar. I think this became too compressed, so let me rewrite that. B bar times A bar dot C bar minus C bar times. This is a kind of something you ought to know. तो इधर वापरेंगे तो क्या होगा? These are your A, B and C. बोलो.
आर बार ब्रैकेट में फिर माइनस के बाय आर स्क्वायर आएगा.
माइनस के बाय आर स्क्वायर बाहर ले लो, बड़ा ब्रैकेट खोल लो, ठीक है.
फिर आर
बार
ब्रैकेट में आर कैप डॉट P bar.
I am going to write this as m r bar dot. P is equal to mv I am using. P bar is equal to m. ठीक है? I have used that here. Minus
minus mr bar. mr dot.
mr bar dot bracket
r bar dot r cap.
r hat dot r bar. बराबर है?
Yes, sir.
Simplify further. Minus mk by r square m ले लिया बार दोनों में से कॉमन. ठीक है? Let us look at this guy. So this is a aside kind of column which is going for multiple things. So this was one thing which it went for. This is the second thing which we substituted in between. The third thing we are going to do here is, what is r hat dot r bar dot? What is the physical meaning of this?
Zero होगा.
No, wait, don't be in a hurry. What is this term? What is the name of this term?
Velocity.
Velocity. And what does taking dot product with a unit vector mean? It means taking that particular component. Ne? If you have any arbitrary vector in 3 dimensions, a bar dot x hat means basically ax, the x component of a. Correct? So this means basically radial component of velocity. Correct? Agreeing, not agreeing, not clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Agree, sir.
Not clear.
R hat dot r bar dot basically means r hat dot velocity, which is basically trying to take the r component of the velocity, which is vr. Okay? All unit vectors are basically projection operators along that particular direction. Na? So any unit vector will dot product with any unit vector will give you the projection along that particular direction. So r bar dot is the velocity vector. Uska component along r hat will be obtained by taking dot product with r hat. Okay? And the velocity in the r direction is also called r dot. Okay? Please note there is a difference between r bar dot and r dot. R bar dot is Vr r hat plus V theta theta hat. It has two components. Whereas r bar dot product with r hat gives you only Vr, only the radial component. Okay? Don't be confused between the two.
Sir, in general,
बोलिए. Yes.
जनरल केस मध्ये VR 0 असतं ना, रेडियल वेलोसिटीज नसते.
Only if the motion is circular. We have not made that assumption. We are saying any general any general motion under a 1 by r potential, not necessarily a circular orbit. ठीक है?
ओके सर.
सर
Yes, बोलिए.
आर बार डॉट म्हणजे त्यात सर थिटा आणि आर हे दोन कॉम्पोनंट आहेत असं.
हो, कारण वेक्टर आहे ना ते शेवटी.
ओके. आणि
आर बार
VR हा आणि सर VR म्हणतोय म्हणजे आर डॉट म्हणतोय म्हणजे त्याच्यात फक्त आर सोबत म्हणजे रेडियल
आर च्या दिशेने जे कॉम्पोनंट आहे. उदाहरण घेऊया ना, एक सोपा उदाहरण घेऊया. बघा, ही समजा हे सन आहे. ठीक आहे? हे ते प्लॅनेट आहे ऍट टाइम लेट अस से T1 आणि दिस इज द सेम प्लॅनेट. This is the same planet at time T2. ठीक है? So this is the radius vector at time t1, call it r1 bar. This is the radius vector at time t2, call it r2 bar. Then the velocity vector is pointing along this direction. Okay, this is basically t2 is very small change from t1. Then velocity vector is pointing in this direction. This picture is okay, is fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Velocity is showing the change of r1 to r2. बराबर है? Now just take, this is the sun and this is the velocity vector. Same picture, I have just taken only these two guys. I have rubbed out everything else. ठीक है ना? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now this will have a component which is called VR, which will be along the direction, and it will have another component called V theta, which will be perpendicular. ह्या वेक्टरचे दोन कॉम्पोनेंट आहेत, एक सूर्याच्या दिशेने आणि त्याच्या परपेंडिक्युलर दिशेने, दोन कॉम्पोनेंट आहेत. तर आर बार डॉट म्हणजे हा अख्खा वेक्टर, आर डॉट म्हणजे फक्त हा भाग, आणि हा भाग आहे आर थीटा डॉट बेसिकली. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Means convinced that the velocity vector will have two components, one along the direction to the center and one perpendicular. Okay, that's all that I wanted to convince you about. Okay, this is looking messy and so I am going to rub it because I think overwriting ho gaya. Is that okay? But fine.
Yes, sir.
हाँ sir. Okay.
Very good. Excellent. What will be r hat dot r bar? It will be just r.
Yes,
It is
sir.
the radial
Yeah.
component of the position vector. Position vector by definition is measured from origin. इधर वो कुछ गड़बड़ नहीं है. There is no theta component. The position vector is the distance from the origin. So this quantity will just be r. Okay. If you want, let me write that down as well. It is the radial component of the position vector, which is nothing but the radial distance, which is r. If you want to use the logic from upstairs, that is valid here. Okay. After all this, finally क्या आएगा? M पहले बाहर ले लिया, ठीक है? You have r bar into what is r hat dot product with r bar dot r dot. बराबर है?
Yes, sir.
माइनस क्या आता है? r bar dot into r. Correct? Agreeing? Yes? No?
Yes, sir. Agree.
Yes, sir.
Now let me write one final thing. What is r hat? It is a unit vector along the direction of r. Ne?
Yes, sir.
This is nothing but r bar divided by r. That is radius vector divided by magnitude of radius vector. Will give you unit vector in the radial direction. Okay? Why I have written down this is because that will help us simplify this further. This will give you minus mk
ऊपर आर बार
Yes.
डॉट आएगा ना?
कहाँ पे r bar dot आएगा?
जब फर्स्ट वाला जो है ना, आर डॉट माइनस आर बार डॉट आर होगा ना?
Sorry? Can you repeat that?
तो यहाँ पर एम आर बार डॉट है, तो एम बाहर निकल गया ना, तो वहाँ पर
हाँ.
आर बार डॉट बचा है ना,
हाँ
अपने पर आर बार ही नीचे से।
नहीं, पहले वाले टर्म में ब्रैकेट वाला टर्म डॉट प्रोडक्ट में चला गया। ये आर बार डॉट, ये आर बार डॉट है, ये डॉट प्रोडक्ट करने के बाद में ये मिलता है। वैसे ये आर बार डॉट,
ओके सर।
ये आर बार डॉट है, और ये डॉट प्रोडक्ट करने के बाद में ये वाला आर मिलता है।
ओके सर।
डन ना, क्लियर ना?
यस सर।
This gives you is this okay everyone? Anyone has verified the algebra side by side? Is this correct or not?
बराबर है सर।
Okay, now how do we proceed? Basically, see, let us now go a little heuristically. Basically, left hand side is already a total time derivative of some quantity. Okay, actually let me write this in the following manner. I don't know that this guy is A, na? I'm just guessing that guy is A. So basically what I'm trying to do is take d by dt of p bar cross L bar and hoping that that guy comes out to be 0. Here he is not coming out to 0, but if I manage to write this as the total time derivative of some quantity, then I will basically get somewhere. Okay. So let me do it.
यूवी रूल जैसा नहीं है, मतलब एक
यूवी रूल जैसा ही है, यूवी रूल जैसा ही है, और उसको ही अपने को एक्सप्लॉइट करने का है। ठीक है, इधर एक माइनस साइन है लेकिन तुम्हारे यूवी रूल के थ्योरी को ये करने के लिए, बट इधर एक बाहर आर स्क्वायर है, वो अंदर जाएगा तो सब ठीक हो जाएगा। वही मैं अभी करेंगे, वही अपन अभी करेंगे। ठीक है, सो नाउ यू कैन राइट दिस एज माइनस एम के, और माइनस भी नहीं चाहिए, एम के u by v types. Yes, acha, u by v, oh you are saying that way. Yes. Actually that makes sense, it is in the standard form of u by v, na? Okay, I am very poor with u by v type of rule. I am a very straightforward uv rule person, but this is of the form of u by v, you are saying?
Yes sir.
What is u and what is v? R is v and r bar is u, correct?
Yes sir.
Compare. Basically v prime u minus u prime v upon v square, ne? U by v का डेरिवेटिव, is this correct?
Yes
सर
sir.
हाँ जी बोलिए। Let me write that more neatly. Very good. Thanks for spotting that. I used to have trouble rearranging this every time. What is the derivative of u by v? V into du by dx minus u into dv by dx divided by v square. Is that correct?
Yes sir।
So what is v here? हाँ, तो now u is r bar ना, and v is r. ठीक है, so this is equal to mk times d by dt of r bar by r. What is r bar by r?
R cap.
Which is nothing but m and k are constant, so I can take them both inside. Derivative of mk r hat. ठीक है, so what is d by dt of p bar cross L bar? What we have computed? It is equal to d by dt of mk r hat, and therefore if I take both the terms on the left hand side, then I will get d by dt of p bar cross L bar minus mk r hat is equal to 0. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
This particular quantity is what we have been searching for, na? What we have been calling as A bar. Because what was our aim, if you remember, our aim was to discover a quantity whose time derivative is 0 and who lives in the plane of the orbit. Barabar hai? Does this satisfy both those criteria? Yes, its time derivative is 0, we have proved. Whether it is in the plane of the orbit, yes, because anything cross L will be in the plane of the orbit. So P cross L is in the plane of the orbit. R hat is also in the plane of the orbit. So therefore, any vector which is the sum of these two will also remain in the plane of the orbit. And therefore, we have finally achieved what we wanted. We have got this guy who is 0 and who is also lying in the orbital plane, whose time derivative is 0. This guy, A bar, which is defined as P bar cross L bar minus MK R hat. This guy is called the famous Laplace-Runge lens vector. Okay, is this fine?
Yes, sir.
Laplace-Runge lens vector. So let us just take small step back and just understand what we have done. What we have achieved is the following. We started with this observational claim of Kepler that this orbit does not seem to precess. We backed it up with our mathematical orbit equation by saying that theta prime is constant and therefore must be true what Kepler says, that the orbit doesn't shift. However, that led us into a different thinking pattern. It said that, okay, if this orbit is not shifting, then there must be some vector quantity. Basically, kaisa hai, if you have a machine at home, some machine, you know, it is not rotating. For example, how many of you have done cooking? If you know that when you are new with mixie, you put something inside, you start turning it, it suddenly gets stuck. Why? Because either you did not add enough water or you put too much things in that, something like that. तो कुछ तो अटक रहा है, मतलब कुछ कारण होना चाहिए. वैसे ही ये प्रीसेस नहीं हो रहा है, मतलब कुछ कारण होना चाहिए. That was the thinking pattern which we started with, and that led us to this conclusion that maybe there is a vector quantity in this problem which is conserved, and because that guy is and it is located in the plane of the orbit, and that because that guy is like this, that is why it is happening. Okay, that was our conjecture. And using this conjecture, we tried to guess A bar. The guessing was a little artificial because, I mean, if you really want to guess, you would have taken many different cases, tried R cross L, tried something else cross L, finally settled on P cross L and arrived at this particular point. And then later on, you realize that, oh, this is of the form of total time derivative U by V rule, and then you get this finally. Okay. So apart from the mathematical part, the physical basis of this is very important, that the moment you look at this problem, that a certain type of behavior is prohibited in a system means that there is some additional constraint in the system which is not immediately obvious, and that is in the Kepler problem, that is in the form of the Laplace-Runge lens vector. Okay. We'll discuss a little more about this in a moment, but before that, is there any problem here? Any question, doubt, comment at this stage? Please ask. Otherwise, I would like to show you one thing. Then we will proceed further. Bolo. Anything? Any problem? Doubt,
Sir.
comment, question? बोलिए.
सर या साईडला आपण जे आर वेक्टर डॉट आर बार इज इक्वल टू आर लिहिलंय ना, आणि त्याच्या खाली आर वेक्टर इज इक्वल टू आर बार अपॉन आर लिहिलं. सर ते उलटे आलं
कुठे
त्याच्यात.
आर हॅट इक्वल टू आर बार अपॉन आर. हा,
हा. सर मग लास्ट सेकंड स्टेप आहे आणि लास्ट वाली स्टेप म्हणजे मला समजलं नाही ती दोन. ते वरचं समजलं, लास्ट सेकंड स्टेप कळली.
कुठे राईट साइडचा लास्ट सेकंड का इथला लास्ट सेकंड?
नाही, राईट साइडचं सर इकडे.
हा भाग तर फिजिकली आपण एक्सप्लेन केलेला.
तो कळला खालचं.
हा
हा कळलाय सर. याच्या खालचं इक्वेशन, हा हे इक्वेशन सर.
ही डेफिनेशन असते आर हॅट ची. इट इज मॅग्निट्यूड ऑफ इट इज द रेडियस वेक्टर डिवाइड बाय मॅग्निट्यूड ऑफ रेडियस वेक्टर.
आणि मग वरती आपण लिहिलंय ते सर,
इथे डॉट प्रोडक्ट घेतलं की ते येईल तुम्हाला. नाही, ते नाही येणार. आर हॅट डॉट आर बार घेतलं तर आर बार डॉट आर बार डिवाइड बाय आर येणार. ठीक आहे. आर बार डॉट आर बार इज आर स्क्वेअर डिवाइड बाय आर विल बिकम आर. हे ऍज अ डेफिनेशन घ्या. याला दोन्ही साईडला आर बारने डॉट प्रोडक्ट करा, तर तुम्हाला आपोआप हे मिळतं. बरं,
ओके सर. हा
कळलं का? इथे आर बारला डॉट प्रोडक्ट विथ आर बार, आर हॅटला डॉट प्रोडक्ट आर बार करा, तर याचा लेफ्ट हँड साइड मिळेल. बरोबर आहे.
हा
राईट साइडला काय होणार? आर बार डॉट आर बार डिवाइड बाय आर. आर बार डॉट आर बार काय असतं? आर स्क्वेअर.
अच्छा, आर स्क्वेअर. हा
आर स्क्वेअर डिवाइड बाय आर काय असतं? आर. तर आलं ना?
ओके ओके सर.
ओके, व्हेरी गुड, थँक्यू. लेट अस सी हाउ दिस गाय लुक्स लाइक. लाप्लास रुंगेलेंस वेक्टर कैसा दिखता है? उसके लिए आई विल नीड टू क्विकली switch my presentation to another presentation. Let me know if this becomes visible on your screen. Okay. This is a kind of animation of a planet moving around the sun. Planet is red in color and it is hardly visible because it keeps moving. Sun is yellow in color and it is visible. Everyone can see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now, in this animation, the black vector is p bar cross l bar. Okay. You can see that. You know that momentum is large when the planet comes close to the sun and momentum is small when it goes away from the sun. You know this because this is basically the conceptual part of Kepler's second law, that when it is close by, the area swept, in order to keep the area swept in equal time constant, he has to move much faster. Okay. We had mentioned this last time also, that near sun wale side mein he will be moving fast, and far away from sun wale side mein he will be moving slowly. L bar is constant and therefore P bar cross L bar will be kind of dependent on P bar. And you can see black arrow, if you see, when it is on the far side, black arrow is very small. When it is on the near side, black arrow is very large. Everyone is able to see this? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Black arrow
Yes,
is
sir.
P cross L. Okay? The black arrow is P cross L. There are three vectors in our problem. One is P cross L, one is MK r hat, and one is A bar. Correct? A bar का definition क्या है? P cross L minus MK r hat. Correct? Yes.
sir.
So उसमें से P cross L keeps changing, MK r hat keeps changing, but A bar, which is the red vector, remains constant and is always pointing in the same direction. ठीक है? A bar का मैग्नीट्यूड एंड डायरेक्शन दोनों कंजर्व हो रहा है. अभी लाल वाला एरो के ऊपर नजर रखो थोड़ा. सेम है ना सब जगह पे, पॉइंटिंग ऑलवेज टुवर्ड्स द लेफ्ट एंड मैग्नीट्यूड आल्सो सेम. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Even though blue vector, which is MK r hat is pointing along r hat, it will always point away from the sun. Remember that. Okay? So MK r hat keeps on changing, P cross L keeps on changing, but A bar remains constant. Any of you can do this animation. I did this using some Excel and little bit of some other software, but you can do it on anything. It's very easy to do. And it's a very interesting thing that you get A bar always pointing in the same direction with the same magnitude. Okay? So there is this red vector which is associated with the orbit, which is conserved, as you can see in this animation. And because that guy is conserved, d by dt of that guy is 0, which means d by dt of the direction of a bar is also 0. And that is why this orbit cannot precess. It is not allowed to precess. It is not physically possible for it to precess because of a conservation law. Conservation of a bar. Conservation of the Laplace-Runge lens vector prevents the orbit from precessing. Okay? Is this okay? Is this fine? Any questions about this? Not clear what is happening in the animation or something like that?
सर ब्लू एरो का रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं.
MK R hat.
ओके सर. सर तो
So it will always point away from the sun.
ओके सर. तर असं काही आहे का तिथे की तो रेड वेक्टर मिळतोय आपल्याला, तो
हा.
त्याचा रिझल्टंट वगैरे आहे या दोन.
हा रिझल्टंट आहे ना दोघांचा. इट इज द रिझल्टंट ऑफ ब्लॅक मायनस ब्लू.
ओके.
But vector resultant, it is vector sum of black and minus blue. What we have plotted here is plus blue. ठीक आहे. तर ब्लू जर ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन मध्ये गेलं तर ते मग हे होणार. ठीक आहे. किंवा असं तुम्ही म्हणू शकता की रेड प्लस ब्लू इज गोइंग टू गिव्ह यू ब्लॅक ऍट ऑल टाइम्स. All three of them will follow parallelogram law of vectors. Red plus blue will always give you black as a result. Can you see that in this diagram? Wherever it goes, red and blue का resultant is black. ठीक है?
सर at extreme position.
At extreme position they are in opposite direction, so minus होके जो बचता है उतना ही मिलता है.
Right hand side.
Yes. At extreme position, the arrow size, there is a minimum arrow size, and that is why actually the size of the vector is smaller than the size of the arrow, but the software has a minimum size for the arrow. That is why that is looking little bit odd when it is coming to the extreme right.
Okay.
Is that okay? Actually, it is 0 at the extreme position. That quantity is 0 or very, very small, if not 0. Okay? All right. Is this okay? Fine. Everyone saw the animation, right? What is the direction of a bar? Mane, in terms of the ellipse. Mane, is it along major axis? Is it along minor axis? Or is it at some arbitrary direction?
Along major axis.
Yes.
It is
A bar is always along the major axis of the ellipse. ठीक है? हाँ बोलिए. You are saying something.
It is parallel to major axis.
Parallel. Mane, direction is parallel or along in the direction of the major axis. So basically, conservation of direction of a bar is equivalent of saying that the major axis does not shift. Major axis remains in the same direction all the time. So it is along the major axis, which makes sense because the major axis is the only axis of symmetry for the ellipse. Okay? The minor axis for an ellipse is as such a symmetry axis, but in the context of the physical problem, it is not a symmetry axis because on one side of the minor axis, sun is there, other side empty focus is there. So physically, that is not a symmetry axis of the system. The major axis is a symmetry axis of the system. And once again, I come to this theme that the conservation of the Laplace-Runge lens vector is some kind of symmetry property of the system. Okay? We'll revisit this theme a little later. Let us do one more quick thing with the Laplace-Runge lens vector. This is again heuristic. I mean, I don't know who came up with this, but try doing a bar dot r bar. What will you get? बराबर है?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you look at this, what does this look like? This is a scalar triple product, correct? Let
Yes.
me do a few things. हाँ बोलो. Can I rewrite this in the following manner? I have just rearranged the two terms in the dot product. Is this okay?
Yes, sir.
Can I rewrite this in the following manner using the properties of scalar triple product? Scalar triple product says that where I put the dot and where I put the cross, I can interchange them and the value doesn't change. Is this correct? But what is R cross P? Arey
L.
bolo.
L, sir.
L bar.
L
So
bar.
you get L bar dot L bar, which is nothing but L square. Is that okay? So you got here L square. What is R hat dot R bar? We already
R.
discussed it. This is R. Correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And what is A bar dot R bar? I am going to call this AR cos theta. Okay. Just to understand this, this is an aside. What is the direction of R bar? Suppose the planet is somewhere here. Okay. What is the direction of R bar? R bar is in this direction. Barabar hai?
Yes, sir.
What is the direction of A bar? A bar is always pointing in this direction. Or let me take A bar there only. A bar is always pointing in this direction. We just saw this, right, in the animation. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is A bar. Let me redraw this. Let me draw this in the following manner. Sorry. Let me redraw this. I'm redrawing it because it is more convenient to do it. Fine. This is the empty focus and sun is on this focus. Consider the planet is here. This is the direction of R bar. This is direction of A bar. बराबर है? Sorry. This is the direction of A bar. A bar will always point from the center towards the sun. Sun ये बाजू था इसलिए वो बाजू point कर रहा था. Sun ये बाजू था ये बाजू point करेगा. What is this angle? This is, suppose I call this angle theta. ठीक है? Is
Yes,
that
sir.
fine?
Yes, sir.
Then basically this theta is the angle between the semi-major axis of the orbit and the actual radius vector at any given point, because a bar will point along the major axis. So this cos theta is just defined with respect to the major axis being pointing along x-axis, and from there you are measuring the angle. Okay. So this is that theta which is denoted over here. You get this particular expression. Can you rearrange this expression to give something more different?
सर एल आहे इथे हा एम आर थिटा डॉट आहे का, जसं आपण लास्ट लेक्चर.
हा पण एल कॉन्स्टंट आहे ना, तो एक कॉन्स्टंट आहे, त्याची व्हॅल्यू एम आर थिटा डॉट स्क्वेअर असावी आणि आर आणि थिटा त्या हिशोबाने व्हेरी होतील जेणेकरून एल कॉन्स्टंट राहतो. पण एल कॉन्स्टंट आहे ना, ट्रीट इट एज ए कॉन्स्टंट, इझियर फॉर यू. See, do this.
डिवाइड बाय एम आर.
MKR plus AR cos theta is equal to L square. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
R is
Yes.
common. Take it to the denominator on the other side. You will get 1 by R. And take L square to the denominator on this side. You will get MK by L square into 1 plus, wait, let us not be in a hurry, MK by L square plus A by L square cos theta. Or in other words, I can take MK by L square common into 1 plus A by MK. Do you recognize this? Of course you do. It's the same. It's the same equation of conic section, which is what you expected, of course, because you have derived it keeping that in mind. A by NK happens to be the eccentricity. So the Laplace-Runge lens vector magnitude has something to do with the shape of the orbit. The direction of the Laplace-Runge lens vector has to do with the basically the orientation of the orbit. Okay? So the Laplace-Runge lens vector, the magnitude plays a role with the shape and the direction plays a role with the orientation of the orbit. That is something which we realize from here. So this is another way of writing the orbit equation in terms of the Laplace-Runge lens vector. In turn, you know this expression for eccentricity in terms of, yes, बोलिए.
सर म्हणजे आपण पहिल्यांदा जे इक्वेशन बघितलं ना त्यात थीटा प्राइम होतं ना, मग ते
हो,
ओरिएंटेशन
थीटा प्राइम ही Laplace-Runge lens vector ची दिशा आहे, तसं तुम्ही बघायला गेलं तर. कारण आपण ए बार आणि आर बारच्या मधला अँगलला थीटा म्हटलंय.
हा सर.
म्हणजे मी ए बार पासून मेजर करतो. आता ए बारची स्वतःची ओरिएंटेशन जर थीटा प्राइमच्या दिशेने असेल तर इथे थीटाच्या ऐवजी मी थीटा मायनस थीटा प्राइम लिहू शकतो. ठीक आहे.
ओके सर. हा.
म्हणजे बेसिकली व्हॉट वी हॅड टोल्ड ऍट द बिगिनिंग, नाईस पॉइंट, आय लाईक इट, दॅट theta prime is some fixed angle and then that is not moving. That fixed angle is nothing but the direction of a bar with respect to whatever coordinate system you are using originally. ठीक आहे. तर फॉर एक्झाम्पल जर मी एक्स ऍक्सिस ह्या दिशेत घेतला, सपोज दिस इज माय एक्स ऍक्सिस, देन ए बार ची जी अँगल आहे ती असेल थिटा प्राइम आणि ही फुल अँगल असेल थिटा फ्रॉम एक्स ऍक्सिस आणि ही जी अँगल आर बार आणि ए बारच्या मध्ये आहे ती असेल थिटा मायनस थिटा प्राईम. तर इथे थिटा मायनस थिटा प्राईम येणार, तितकाच फरक आहे. ठीक आहे.
ओके सर.
तर म्हणजे सेमच गोष्ट मिळाली आहे तुम्हाला, फक्त नावं थोडे बदलले. इथे ज्याला थिटा मी म्हणतोय त्याला मी थिटा मायनस थिटा प्राईम म्हणू शकतो, परंतु ही थिटा डिफाईन्ड आहे ऍज अँगल बिटवीन ए बार अँड आर बार. तर दुसऱ्या कुठल्या रेफरन्स पासून घ्यायचं असेल तर ह्या अँगलला मी थिटा मायनस थिटा प्राईम म्हणू शकतो, ए बारच्या अँगलला थिटा प्राईम म्हणू शकतो, आर बारच्या अँगलला थिटा म्हणतोच मी, तसं ते आहेच आपलं. ठीक आहे. So this is a particular equation when a bar is chosen to be along the x-axis. If a bar is not along the x-axis, you can write the angle theta as theta minus theta prime, where theta is the angle of r bar from x-axis, theta prime is the angle of a bar from x-axis. That way. Okay. So it's the same thing whether you call it theta minus theta prime. Rather, this is better because it tells you that theta prime is nothing but the direction of a bar. Basically, it puts that clearly. All right, fine.
Yes sir. Okay, fine.
Very good. So this basically brings us to a kind of conclusion. Basically, the purpose of studying the Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector at this stage. Let me spend a few minutes on that, and then we will conclude for today. Stop for today. Okay. First motivation for studying the Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector is to realize that the property of the orbit by which the orbit doesn't shift or doesn't precess has some very significant dynamics behind it. See, according to Newton's Newton's laws, let us say, if the object is having some kind of force applied on it, then it will continue to move. The fact that this particular system has the freedom, see, no one has told that the potential energy curve is like this. No one has told that. They have only told that you have to be restricted to be between here and here. No one had told that between R1 and R2 you cannot go anywhere you want. This is R2 and this is R1. And in the Kepler problem, basically the planet moves like this. Always moves along this track only, doesn't go anywhere else. It is allowed so much of space, but it is restricting itself to only this much. Matlab, it is like, you take a child to the garden and child just plays in one corner and doesn't go to anywhere else in the garden. उधर झूला है, वो घसरपट्टी सब है, पर वो एक ही जगह पे कोने में बैठ के खेल रहा है. Means it is somehow doesn't make sense. ठीक है? That your region allowed for motion is this much, ne? Which means as far as the diagram is concerned, your region allowed for motion is this whole region. बराबर है? This whole shaded region is allowed for motion. But what is the system doing? It is moving only on this particular track, not covering any of the other regions. Okay? What you expect the system to do in a potential well of this type, if this is, let us say, R1 and this is R2, what you expect the system to do is something like this. Means eventually there will be no place left where the system has not gone. Okay? But your system, even though it has this whole shaded region to move, it keeps doing this motion repeatedly. And definitely this raises a question, why? Why is this happening? Okay? That is a question which we tried to answer today. And we found that this is happening because apart from all the variables which we already saw, we have seen conservation of angular momentum, we have seen conservation of energy. Apart from that, particularly for the 1 by r type potential, there is one more additional conserved quantity, and that conserved quantity, basically because it is conserved, the system keeps moving only on one track, because direction in space where the system will move is a conserved quantity. Orientation in space where the orbit is located is a conserved quantity. The orientation is a conserved property, I suppose. There is a vector quantity associated with that conservation of orientation, and that quantity is what we try to track down today. We found that there is this quantity called the Laplace-Runge lens vector. Its definition is P bar cross L bar minus MK r hat. And the conservation of this quantity is what basically prevents the Kepler orbit from precessing and basically moving around. And we found that we can also write the orbit equation in the same form, in a conic section form, even using the Laplace-Runge lens vector. In this case, it turns out that the eccentricity factor is proportional to the magnitude of the Laplace-Runge lens vector, and the orientation of the ellipse or orientation of the orbit. Please note that this particular equation is valid even for Laplace-Runge lens vector, eccentricity greater than 1 equal to 1, and so even for hyperbolic orbits, parabolic orbits, the Laplace-Runge lens vector is still conserved. Its physical significance, there is no real concrete physical significance, but nevertheless it is there. It's a conserved quantity. Okay. We found that the orbit equation can be written. The magnitude of the Laplace-Runge lens vector is basically proportional to the eccentricity of the orbit. Direction is in the direction of the major axis, and it is a conservation of this guy that prevents the orbit from precessing. Okay, this was what we covered today. Allow me to spend a few more minutes and then we will stop. Okay. A few minutes on the significance. Let me try to put it this way. If the Laplace-Runge lens vector is conserved, this means that the orbit does not precess. This was where we started today. So, if any real orbit is actually observed to precess, observationally it is confirmed that this particular system ka orbit is precessing, then what does it mean? It means that the Laplace-Runge lens vector is not conserved. There are many systems where this happens. For example, so first of all, examples of systems where Laplace-Runge lens vector is conserved. Okay. If there is an isolated planet, orbiting a star. Basically, that is a classic example of two-body central force problem. Second example is the hydrogen atom. The Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector is conserved. In fact, in the tutorial, there is a small problem which doesn't cover the whole aspect, but basically, the original Heisenberg solution or the Pauli-Heisenberg solution to the hydrogen atom problem in quantum mechanics, it is based on the conservation of the Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector. It is used as one of the operators in order to derive the radial wave functions. Okay. On the other hand, examples of systems where the Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector is not conserved and the orbit actually does precess is, as we said, planets in the solar system are actually observed to have some precession because none of the planets are actually pure two-body problems with the sun. There is always a third perturbing body in form of either satellites of that planet itself or some of the other planets. And all of this together will cause the orbit of all the planets to precess. Okay? So real planets in the solar system, not systems, their orbit is actually observed to precess. Second case where Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector is not conserved, an example is many electron atoms. Let me try to bring this into clear visibility, clear sight, that how exactly the hydrogen atom and many electron atoms are affected and what is the connection of the Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector. Basically, if you compare the hydrogen atom to many electron atoms, quantum mechanically speaking, you will find that the energy levels of the hydrogen atom depend only on the principal quantum number, whereas in many electron atom, it depends on the principal quantum number as well as what is called the azimuthal quantum number or L quantum number. So in the hydrogen atom, basically, there is an L degeneracy. In other words, different values of L lead to the same energy. Classic example in the, let us say, Balmer series or the Lyman series. Let us take Balmer series. Balmer series is a series of lines, spectral lines, which involve electron making a transition from higher energy levels up to the second energy level of hydrogen. N is equal to 2 energy level. There, it doesn't matter whether the transiting electron is coming from, let us say, 3p. It cannot come from 3p, 3d or 3s or something. It doesn't matter. It comes down to the second orbit, and all these spectral lines have the same energy. So, for example, jumping from third orbit to second orbit, it could be a jump from 3s to 2p or a jump from 3p to 2s. All of these have the same energy in hydrogen atom. In many electron atom, the L degeneracy is not observed. What do you mean? Different values of L actually have different energies. That is why the energy of an energy level depends on both principal quantum number and the azimuthal quantum number, that is the L quantum number as well. This degeneracy lifting or absence of degeneracy is very clear. For example, you must have done your experiments in optics with sodium vapor lamp, which is a yellow colored light, which is there for, it is the standard source for optics experiments. In the sodium vapor lamp, the yellow line which you see is actually a transition from the 3p energy level to the 3s energy level. So in hydrogen, 3p and 3s are at exactly the same energy, because 3s means it has principal quantum number 3 and L quantum number equal to 0. Whereas 3p means n equal to 3 and L equal to 1. So both of these are the same energy level in hydrogen, but in sodium they are two different energy levels. In fact, so much so that the transition from here to here actually gives you a line in the visible region. 5890 angstrom. You can convert that into energy and find out how much EV of difference is there. Okay. So what is the reason for this? That in hydrogen atom the L degeneracy is present, whereas in many electron atom L degeneracy is absent. There is a further thing in the hydrogen atom, the ML states are also degenerate. There is something called magnetic quantum number, and this degeneracy is observed also in many electron atoms. So in many electron atoms, ML degeneracy is still present, but L degeneracy is absent. The reason for this is the ML degeneracy is linked to angular momentum conservation. If you remember, when we had discussed Noether's theorem, we have said this, that quantum mechanical degeneracy of states is a classic symptom of conservation of physical quantities. Whenever there is a conserved quantity, there will be a corresponding degeneracy, and there will be a corresponding symmetry in the geometry of the problem, or in the Hamiltonian or Lagrangian of the problem, if you want to look at it from that viewpoint. Okay. So L bar is conserved for all central forces. So even for many electron atoms, the force between the individual electrons and the nucleus is still a central force, but it is not a purely Coulombic force, because it is not a pure 1/r interaction. It is 1/r plus some Taylor series expansion, which depends on all the other electrons which are repelling this electron. Okay. So it is no longer pure 1/r, but it is still a central force, and hence L bar is still conserved, and hence the ML degeneracy is still present. On the other hand, the L degeneracy in quantum mechanics is linked to conservation of the Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector. The Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector is conserved only for pure hydrogen atom case, but in many electron atoms, the Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector is not conserved. These arrows should be both ways. So in quantum mechanics, there is no such concept as orbit, but nevertheless, the Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector is not conserved in this case, because the potential has to be minus k/r. If potential is not minus k/r, then Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector is not conserved. If Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector is not conserved, then the L degeneracy is no longer present, and different L values will lead to different energies in that system. Okay. So just to complete this picture, how to remove the ML degeneracy? Apply an external electric or magnetic field. When you apply an external electric or magnetic field, the isotropy of space around the atom is broken. Now there is a special direction in space, and all directions perpendicular to that are different, and that direction is different because that direction has a magnetic field or electric field. And therefore, when you apply an external electric or magnetic field, the force is no longer a pure central force. It is a central force of the nucleus plus a linear force due to the external field. And because it is no longer a central force, L bar is no longer conserved, and therefore the ML degeneracy is also removed. So ML degeneracy removal is possible if you destroy the conservation of L bar, and L degeneracy is removed when you destroy the conservation of A bar. So this is kind of brings a nice conclusion that the conservation of a particular quantity is related to a particular symmetry in the system. In this case, it is the symmetry, as we mentioned it earlier, is that the conserved quantities along the major axis of the ellipse, which is a symmetry axis of the ellipse, and it is not in some other arbitrary direction, and therefore with respect to that particular direction, both sides of the orbit, both halves of the orbit are the same, and kind of, that is the symmetry aspect of this, and that is also linked quantum mechanically with a degeneracy. In this particular case, the degeneracy of the azimuthal quantum number, the L quantum number. If a system has A bar conserved, that is Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector conserved, then the L states will all be degenerate. They will all have the same energy. The moment you go to a system where A bar, the Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector, is not conserved, immediately you get a breaking of the L degeneracy, and you get different L values with different energies. Okay? This was just an extra part. If it went bouncer, don't worry about it. It is just something to think about, that how deeply these things are connected with each other. Conservation laws, symmetries in the system, and degeneracy of the energy levels. These things are so nicely connected with each other, which was what was our thinking process during our discussion of Noether's theorem. This is just a practical example where a hidden symmetry is present in the system. In this case, the Keplerian orbits, the hidden degeneracy in the form of the Laplace-Runge-Lenz vector, which took fair amount of digging to bring it out. But once it comes out, you begin to realize that this is very fundamental. Okay. I would like to stop here. If there is any question, comment, etc., please ask. Otherwise, we can wind up. Thank you.